So one of the other things that we saw was that, at least starting from like, I think roughly a month ago, was that the need for, when we realized the government didn't have a choice and they're going to have to reopen the economy, just because you have to balance people's lives and people's livelihoods, right? And so we were thinking about, what would a post-COVID world look like, and how will people operate safely in a world like that? And one of the things that we knew and we were seeing from our work doing the sample collection site was that a lot of manufacturers were reporting outbreaks, mini outbreaks within their factories. And so because there wasn't any way to like solve to make sure that there wasn't like a sick employee coming into work and infecting other people. And so we put together like a service called Sentinel X. It's a experts disease and health monitoring service, where as an employer, it enables you it gives you the peace of mind that you know that you're trying to protect, that you're able to protect your employees. And the way it works is that at the beginning we pre-screen everybody with the latest tools we have. We use some AI for people with any symptoms of lower respiratory tract infection. We would x-ray them and use AI to see if the pneumonia they have is associated with COVID or not. And in a place where COVID testing is actually scarce, that was a way for us to screen people to make sure that we can isolate the people who are potentially sick. So we do a pre-screening program where we pre-screen everybody for not just COVID risk, but also for their underlying conditions. And once we have that information, then as they come to work every day, we just do a quick questionnaire that they run through. We take their temperature and their blood oxygen level, and then we can say, hey, you're okay, you can resume work today, or say, no, you feel sick, you should go back home. And this is something we've seen that has worked. We flagged in one person that came in, they were coughing, and we knew, they didn't tell us that something was wrong with them, but we knew something was wrong because their blood oxygen level was slightly low. It was lower than what their previous baseline was. And we were able to say, hey, you're medium risk, that was the first person we screened. So we just isolated them for that day. But even now, from our discussions based off with the employers, even for medium risk, we won't even let them into this space anymore. And that's the kind of decisions having something like Sentinel X on your site gives you, is that you're able to know the people that should be coming to work or screen out the people that shouldn't be coming to work. And so this was an idea we put out. The reception has been actually very, very positive. We got a pilot already with a co-working space. And so right now we're focusing on selling to co-working spaces and actually Nollywood, those are the two industries that are really itching to get back to production or get back to having businesses work on site. And so Sentinel X is a way for them to make sure that the people that are resuming work are resuming in a very, very safe way. And so going forward, we've learned a lot from our first pilot. Now we're rolling this out to the wider public, more businesses. Right now, I think the businesses have to be at least 50 people or more for it to be worthwhile, at least the cost. But I think that we would also figure out a way to create a program that works for less people. It's just going to be more challenging from a cost point of view. But yeah.
So like one reason why we've always been really interested as a company of how we can move from less reactionary diagnostics to more preventative and predictive diagnostics. And so one reason we are particularly excited about this idea is that it allows us to kind of come in and help companies reopen more safely and get a better picture of the overall health of their employees as people start to resume to work, and to have that continuous monitoring component is really important, and having it in a way where it's not just a security guard taking your temperature, but actually recording all of that information and helping track people's symptoms over time. So that's one thing we're excited about. And then we also have incorporated the testing for underlying conditions like diabetes, hypertension, and kidney and liver diseases. So we do a pretty comprehensive health check as part of that pre-screening. And that is useful in a COVID situation, because we've seen that people with these underlying conditions are at higher risk for developing severe disease from COVID. So we want to be able to kind of flag those issues early on and let people know, hey, this is what's going on. You are at a higher risk and we need to be more careful. And B, it allows us to help start to have this shift from the reactionary care to more of the preventative care and continuous monitoring for patients that do have underlying conditions. So that's something that's actually, I think, been as exciting to see as the COVID related screenings, but seeing how we've been able to interact with patients and give them these insights into their health, whether it's saying like, hey, your blood pressure is high, here are some things that you should chat with your doctor, here are some lifestyle changes you can make, and we're here to help you track this over time and give you access to the diagnostics you need to see if the lifestyle changes or the medications that you're taking are actually helping with this underlying condition that you have. And we've seen that just the reactions from individuals so far has been incredibly positive. Most people it's not very common to get an annual physical done or to get these types of health checks done unless sometimes it's an employer paying for it. Sometimes you have an issue that comes up and your doctor will then ask that you go and get a swath of tests done, but it's pretty uncommon right now to have these done in a preventative capacity. But we've seen that people are really kind of excited to be able to get this picture into their health. It's flagged a lot of issues that would probably have gone unnoticed otherwise. And it's also kind of a great way for us to start thinking about how can we move further down this chain and start to provide more continuous and supportive care for patients instead of always reacting to health issues. So that's our latest baby that has been taking up a lot of our time and mental energy over the past month or so. But we're, again, as Shoga said, really excited to be learning so much from this first pilot that we're doing, and then looking to launch this with a couple more companies after having gone some iterations from this first experience. And then hopefully this will actually be built out into something that is its own unit within MDaas even after COVID. So continuing to have this focus on preventative and predictive diagnostics. So that's kind of where we see this going forward. And so we've been able to hopefully take what is a really stressful and terrible situation in a lot of ways, but use it to help us develop a product that we've been thinking about for a while, but just didn't quite have the push to go after in a very serious and fast way. And we've definitely gotten that push with COVID. So that's kind of where we are right now. We still have plans to open up a couple more diagnostic centers this year to help us expand our reach. But I'd say the areas that we are really excited about now is thinking about what services like Sentinel X can we start to build on top of our diagnostic infrastructure. So we definitely need to be able to have that testing capacity. We need to be able to test in a cost-effective way. But then once you have that underlying infrastructure, there are so many opportunities to build new products and services on top of it. And Sentinel X is one example of that. And I think that's kind of what we're really excited about with our company going forward. So I can stop there, and then we talked for a long time. Happy to answer any questions and chat more about any various topics.